Have you found your calling as a social media marketer? That's how I started my business, and I've now grown it to 7 figures. We just crossed 2 million. So today I want to give you my best tips and strategies to how to start a social media marketing agency. I have walked this road, so I'm very excited to share with you my best tips for how to go from freelancer to CEO of your very own social media marketing agency. And then the next common question from social media marketers is, how do I price myself? We'll get into the secret behind knowing what you should charge for your social media marketing services. Then we'll talk about the 2 most critical elements for having your own successful agency. And as a bonus, I'll also share with you how to land your dream clients. Let's first talk about the most critical mindset shift that everyone needs to go through. And that's how to go from freelancer to CEO of your very own social media marketing agency. For most people, we start off taking on projects or doing these little side jobs here and there. And maybe you charge by the hour, maybe you charge by the project. But when you charge as a freelancer, instead of having an agency where maybe you have a team work with you, maybe you have different tiers of services, that needs to be clearly differentiated. So I started by taking on little side projects. I was actually a full-time dental hygienist, which seems like a whole lifetime ago that I was cleaning teeth all day, every day. But I knew that I wanted to do something that was more creative and that I could work with more people and be able to tell stories online. I've always loved movies and storytelling and writing. And so when I realized that I could actually make money by creating content for other people's social media platforms, this seemed like a really great outlet to me. But when I first started, my services looked something like, yeah, I'll create 1 post a day for you and I'll charge this much. And so I kind of based my time based on the hour. If I was like, well, maybe it'll take me a couple hours a day and this is like average wage for that, and that ended up being the price point. Or I would track my hours and give them an hourly wage and then they would pay me afterwards. The problem with that is that it sets a limit for you. You only have so many hours in a day. And the other thing is that people should be paying you for your expertise, not your time. The biggest shift for me going from a freelancer to a CEO was recognizing that I want to be paid for my expertise, and I also want to expand my profit margins so that I could bring on a team, so that I could have more opportunities than I have time available in the day. So as I began to take on side jobs, my time began to fill up. I was working 6 to 8 hours a day in the dental office, and sure, I would kind of work between patients. I used to hide in the bathroom with my cell phone and post social media content for my clients, but then it was otherwise evenings and weekends. But even that, there's only so much time available in the day. I knew that I needed to expand. I want to hear your story. What's been your experience with social media marketing so far? Why do you want to break into the industry? Let me know how your experience has been in the comments below. As my expertise and my time became more in demand, I knew that I needed to make a shift. I knew I needed to be able to create more in less time to be able to meet the demand. So I started looking at, how are other social media marketers doing this? How are other freelancers doing this? And that's where I realized if I was stuck in this freelancer mindset and charging hourly, I was always going to have a ceiling on how much I could accomplish or how much I could earn. People are going to pay you for your expertise, not just your time. And think about the downside of that. If people are paying for your time, but you're really good at what you do, what if what takes someone 5 hours takes you 5 minutes because you're so good at what you do? Why should you make less than the less experienced person? That's the key to the freelancer to CEO mindset shift. So what I did from there is I created different tiers of my services. So maybe I had a basic social media package and it was just a package price. No matter how many hours or how much time went into it, it was the output, it was the productivity, it was the expectations that they received. It didn't matter, and my clients didn't need to know how much time it would take me, or if it was me or maybe an employee who was working with me. What matters is the quality of the service and that it delivers to the expectation of what they're paying you for. So I had different tiers of my service that maybe I would provide more output as the price would get bigger. They would get maybe different services, like maybe I would start to do some Facebook ads here, maybe I would start to do some video work here, maybe I would optimize their funnels. And not to say that you have to do all of that, but as you can provide more value, whether that's through more content being created or more expertise or being available to work on other projects, that's what can help you to expand your business and your income. So if your clients are expecting to pay for high quality and you want to continue to be in demand for your products and services, we also have a moral obligation to continue to grow in our quality, in our personal development, and in the skills that we have. So I took it upon myself to join courses, to watch YouTube videos, to study how I can become a better social media marketer. In addition to the studying, it's also the people I surrounded myself with. I joined masterminds, I attended networking groups with other social media marketers, and I took on more skills so that I could be a better leader, so that I could grow my team. There's only one of me. There's only so many hours in the day I have. And if I need more time, I realized I can't buy time, but I can kind of buy someone else's time. If I need more time, I need more team. I knew my time was capped, so how do I decide what I can hire for? Well, I did this thing called a time study where I would write down every single thing I would do all day, every day. Kind of write them in 15-minute increments. Maybe I spent some time on emails here. Maybe I spent some time on accounting here. Maybe I spent a ton of time doing graphic design or video editing and writing content. At the end of about a week or two, I would look at where am I spending most of my time? And where is that time most valuable for the business? Where is it generating the most revenue for the business? And what are the things that I could potentially outsource or bring on some help? And what are the things that I actually enjoy doing? Working in your superpower is gonna allow you to scale way beyond anything else that anyone tells you to do. You might be really good at video editing or graphic design, but do you like it? If you don't love what you're doing, if you feel like you're better when your mind is in the strategic work or the copywriting work, but you feel a little bogged down by the video editing, that's never gonna scale. So that was actually my first hires. Although I am good at graphic design and video editing, that's where I spent the most time. And if I couldn't spend time in the more strategic, that is actually going to generate more revenue and get more clients and reach more people, I would always be stuck at that limit. So I hired a graphic designer and I hired a video editor. And knowing that my revenue was still fluctuating as I was still growing and scaling, what I did instead of taking on the risk of hiring full-time employees is I hired them based on the projects that I was working on. Just for numbers' sake, let's make it easy. If a client was gonna pay me $1,000, so for numbers' sake, let's say if I know that a client is gonna pay me $1,000, maybe I could hire a video editor or graphic designer and say, hey, I have $100 available for this project. Can you do this video for $100? And there are people all over the world on Upwork, on onlinejobs.ph, on indeed.com, where you can list, here's my budget I have available, and people actually bid on the jobs and be happy and be thrilled to do the work for that price point. And I know that every entrepreneur has fears about outsourcing. What if they don't care about my business as much as I do? What if they don't do as good of a job as I do? Well, I'm not telling you to let go of the reins completely. It's just that your job is moving from a freelancer to a CEO. You move from being the doer to being the leader. That you get to be part of this team. And honestly, growing a team has been one of the most exciting and rewarding things that I've ever done. To create this company culture, to have people that are excited about the work that they're doing. And that was a huge part of the mindset shift for me to turn into a leader and bring on the right people. And I'll tell you, I've certainly learned so much from that. I've had to learn the hard way more times than I can count. I've hired the wrong people. And that taught me how to hire the right people. And that's always going to be a learning process. Before I tell you the two most critical elements of having your own social media marketing agency, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. This content is 100% free. If you click that subscribe button, you'll be notified every time I put out a new video. And this is what's gonna help you to up-level your business and your content marketing game so I can help you to earn more money and grow your business. Let's talk about having systems in your business. So now you have this streamlined process. I can't tell you how many times I took on random clients and random projects and had to create new systems as we go. But as I created the streamlined tiers of my services, that also allowed our workflows to be streamlined. So we weren't trying to like pick up these random things and, oh, I got to figure out how to do this. We knew exactly what the project was and our workflows over and over, whether it was me, whether it was someone else on the team, or if something happened with another person on the team, that we have these systems and processes and procedures that someone could easily pick it up. And it was just repetitive, but amazing quality work. The next thing that is so incredibly important to becoming a successful social media manager is also the clients that you work with. Now, I know it might seem counterintuitive to say no to a client because we want to say yes to everything. We want to take on these opportunities. We want to grow our income. But I've learned the hard way that sometimes saying no creates more opportunities for yes from the right clients. I had this client come to me once. He came to me as a dating coach. I thought, that's cool. That's content I'd love to create and help him to grow his business. And after a couple calls and discovering his messaging and his business, I discovered that he wasn't actually a dating coach. He was a pickup artist. I didn't realize what a pickup artist was at the time until as I was diving into his content that one of his taglines was how to get women in bed in 30 minutes or less. And I just realized, you know what? I'm not the right person for you. It just wasn't something that I could put my heart behind. It wasn't something that I could get excited about. When I work with clients, I want to feel fired up about them. I want to be excited to hear from them. I want to be willing to go above and beyond for them. And with this, it just wasn't something that I could put my heart and soul into. So as much as we want to say yes to opportunities, declining the wrong ones or by setting a boundary is going to be the best thing for you in scaling your business. You might even have clients that you love that you need to set boundaries with. There's this thing called scope creep where they'll go, hey, can you just do this for me? And oh, would you mind just doing this for me? And before I used to be like, yeah, I'm a people pleaser. I want to be able to give. I want people to like me too. But I realize that's taking away from the expertise that I've set a standard for. And if I do that for them, do I have to do that for the rest of my clients? I learned how to respond to that by saying, sure, that'll be this much extra, and here's the invoice. Boundaries with your client is so important. It creates mutual respect. They're gonna have boundaries for you, and you're gonna have boundaries for them. And having clear expectations of communication, of timelines, of payments. For example, a big thing that I had to set a boundary for, and that most social media marketers learn sooner or later, is that as an agency, as a CEO, we have to actually charge upfront for our services. I can't tell you how many social media managers have been stiffed or left hanging when they sent an invoice after that was never paid. What you are doing is a very valuable service, and you should get payment upfront before you put in the effort. All right, you ready for this? This is the bonus part that I wanted to share with you, and it's about how to land your dream clients. How do you approach clients for social media marketing? I know when I first started, I was really lucky to get a ton of referrals, and that also is an incredible way to grow your business. Word of mouth is one of the best ways to get clients. If someone can vouch for you and rave about you, it already creates that trust. So there's less of a barrier or less of an objection to overcome when you're pitching your services. So if you can even create word of mouth or referral incentive programs for your existing clients, that's what can help you to find more amazing clients. Imagine if your favorite client was able to refer you to their friends that, if they're friends with them, are probably just as amazing as them. If you had one amazing client, you're like, I just want 10 more of you. Do you have friends or other business owner friends that you might be interested in referring my service to? Maybe you give them a bonus, maybe you give them some additional work, or maybe you send them a gift basket or something when they give you that referral. That can be a really great incentive for your clients to continue to pitch you to their friends and family. The other way that you can land some of your dream clients is through some cold outreach, but I'm actually gonna teach you a way that you can do this that's called the Dream 100. So, with cold outreach, cold calling can be a little bit uncomfortable at times. If you were to call and say, hey, I do this service, would you be interested? I'm gonna show you a way that you can do it that actually is very impressive and intriguing to the client instead of just getting cold calls. I don't know about you, but I get messages or emails or phone calls all the time pitching me for something. But if you can position it as like, what's in it for them and how you can really help them, that might be really intriguing to them instead of just, hey, can you hire me? So the first thing you do in creating your Dream 100 before you do any outreach is you can create a list of all the industries that maybe you'd like to work in. And then from there, start to research some of maybe the top people in that space or businesses near you that are in that industry. This Dream 100 list becomes like a wish list of all the people in the industries, the businesses that you'd love to work with. Now, what I would do for them is I would create a very customized piece of content or a video for them showing that I know what their business is about, showing them that I'm a fan and supporter of their business. And instead of just calling them up and saying, hey, do you need a social media marketer? I would give this to them, send this to them as a gift to say, hey, I'm a big fan of your business and I just wanted to create this for you. And then you can kind of step back with no expectations, no ask yet. And maybe that's the first step is you just give them something and you can say, hey, if there's anything I can change, if you want to use this, if you want to use this as a video ad, or if you want to use this as a piece of content, I'd love to help you to do that. The other thing that you can do is you can actually do a little audit or a review of their social media or their marketing strategies. And maybe you can reach out to them with a ton of value. Hey, I noticed that you're doing this and it must be working so well for you. Have you ever considered XYZ? And be able to give them some value with your expertise. When you can reach out to potential clients in this way, this is what's going to help set you apart from the rest. Think of if they're getting inundated, or if they're getting emails or people showing up at their office all the time with, hey, can I work for you? This can be the way that people will actually remember you and feel like you do have a lot to offer for their business. Think about what's in it for them and what would impress them. If you are looking to get more social media marketing experience, I have tons of videos on the topic. I'm going to link one of my favorite ones in the top of the description, and I'll see you on that video.